Hello and welcome to episode 155 for Schnozzcast. This is Bob, joined by my fantastic, super awake co-hosts, Nick Bader, Cory Selesky. Todd Dillon is out battling the elements tonight and won't be able to join us, but he is here in spirit. So we got a few things to get to tonight. A little housekeeping, booze news. We've got a few grievances to air, an existential question to ponder, gentleman's agreement, and pick of the week. Gentlemen, how are you, sir?
Good evening.
Cory.
Oh, hey.
There it is. I never would know whether you're waiting for me.
Of course.
If I just didn't say anything, how long would you wait?
The entire show.
All right. That would make for a horrible listening experience, but I'm tempted to try it.
We can see how it goes.
I think it would take like 60 seconds. You'd be like, I'm doing fine, Bob. Thanks.
All right. So we're here in 2022, fellas.
It is 2022.
Just dropping that fact for,
Yeah.
For those who don't know, it is 2022 now.
All back together again.
Let's, special welcome back, the triumphant return of Nick Bader from the brink of death. Well, I'm glad to have you, buddy.
Oh, yeah. It was difficult trying to watch you guys on so many levels.
Well, it's because Bob's Wi-Fi sucks. So
Yeah, it does. It really did.
I just meant because I wasn't there, but take it as you may.
So we recorded, it was last weekend's podcast that he's referring to, and I just published it today. So it's, almost a week later. And it was so bad that I had to, the podcast wasn't bad. The editing of the podcast was so bad that, Cory, when you go in GarageBand and you've got like a little block of silence that you want to cut out. So you got to put a break, find the start, and then put another break for the end.
right.
And then as you do that, your WAV file basically gets chopped up into different segments, and it gives each segment a number, like the name, the WAV file name, and then dot, and then the number. And if you never do it, you only have a 1. But I did it in the very last segment when I was done was 227.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was. I ended up chopping over 30 minutes out of it, and it wasn't because it was bad. It was just the delay, and we ultimately had to go like, okay, we'll talk, and Todd, you wait till we're done, and then you talk, and there's going to be a 5-second delay in between every time.
Unlistenable?
If I had left it alone, yeah, I wouldn't have listened to it.
Unlistenable!
Dude, that's why I said for the video, I'm not even going to bother with any of that. I'm just going to put up the pictures of past artwork. I
had to call him and ask him because he's like, hey, can you put that audio file up there when you're done? And I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck he's going to do with that because I cut so much out of it. It's like 1,000 cuts. And so I call him, I'm like, man, I don't understand what you want. And finally explain. I'm like, oh, that's good because that's probably going to be way easier than whatever I thought you were going to
trying
do.
to cut the video together is going to be next to impossible. So
horrible.
It'll just be the audio with the past artwork streaming on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unless, Nick, you want to make something special for the...
Whatever. I got to make something for this upcoming week, so...
That is true. It's your call, man.
Whatever you want to... if you want to make something for it, feel free if you got the time.
Yeah, we'll see how this week goes.
All right.
So along those lines, just to get into housekeeping real quick, if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining. Stick with us here. We'll be here every week at this time. If you want to find us out on the streaming services, you can get us on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Pandora, Audible, or anywhere where you can get a podcast. If you're looking for us out on social media, you can find us out on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at Schnozzcast. You can email us at schnozzcast@gmail.com, or at any time, day or night, you can text or call us at 618-SHOCKER.
The shocker.
Nick Bader controls that phone, keeps it right next to his bed at all times.
24/7, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
24/7.
You're not going to get a better response from 911, I don't think.
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't hope so.
So along these lines, for housekeeping, 2 things. First of all, congrats, fellas. We just hit 150 episodes on Podbean. I know technically this is episode 155, but there were enough lost episodes.
I was going to say a couple Brett episodes.
Yep. And the first episode the second through the fourth or something like that
didn't do anything with.
Pretty unlistenable. Got super drunk. Nothing made sense. So we just officially hit 150 episodes. So we have a badge there in case we want it.
Nice.
Secondly, for you, the listener, we're going to change a little bit of how we get this podcast to you. Normally, we would get together on a night like this, and we would get ready to record the audio, record the video, and also live stream it out on YouTube. And we've determined that we want to get you a better product. And so therefore we're going to forego the live stream and go in on our own, and just record it, engineer it, in post, and get you, the best product that we can get you. So a lot like all of the other mainstream podcasts that you'll see, the Joe Rogan Experience. Why not compare ourselves to the Joe Rogan Experience?
We're pretty close.
Yeah. Your mom's house.
We're coming for you, Joe.
We are not, none of those people go live, and we aren't either. We're going to make sure that what we give you is the best that we can give. So that's going to be a little bit different. So when you see us out on YouTube, or you are looking for us out on Spotify, when we drop a new episode, which you will be able to get if you subscribe to us, so make sure and do that. It'll be what we recorded from the previous week. So every once in a while, probably once a quarter, we'll end up going live.
I was going to say, I could see doing like maybe a St. Patty's Day live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe a 4th of July.
Sure. Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Along
Devil's
those
Night.
lines.
Flag Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boxing Day in Canada.
Oh, that's a huge one.
So.
We actually have a lot of fans in Canada.
Oh, well, then
That's
there you go.
actually not a bad idea.
We should do Boxing Day just passed.
Who else does a Boxing Day? I don't think anybody does a Boxing Day podcast.
I'm
Well,
sure
listen to these Americans. This is crazy. How dare they do a podcast on Boxing Day? They kind of sound Irish, too.
I was going to say, you need to work on that Canadian accent.
They sound a little Irish. Maybe they moved a long time ago. Maybe they're second generation.
They immigrated?
Yeah.
Tons of immigrants. So that's housekeeping for the week. Nick has poured us a shot, so we welcome you, as always, to pour yourselves one and join us. What do we got here? This is the Old Smoky strawberry moonshine shot.
I think this is a blushing pregnant woman's teat milk.
Oh, I was so close.
Yeah.
Danielle, you got one? Excellent. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Cheers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Definitely strawberry.
Tastes like the strawberry tippy cow.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know that we were going to be doing like 6 more of those.
No, that's heavy.
Yeah.
It's definitely heavy.
There might be one more before the end of the entire evening. But
It tastes like Christmas eggnog with brandy.
Is that good?
I don't think so.
I mean,
fucking hate eggnog.
I love eggnog.
It has like a 1-2 sip that are like, yeah, this is great.
No, that was Missy Elliott. That was 1-2 step.
Oh, I thought that was Sierra.
Boom, Cory.
Don't talk to me about 90s R&B.
Talk to you about using your microphone on the podcast, though. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
It's new. I need to understand how it works.
It's the beard, sir. It's new.
It's actually very heavy, like it wants to tip over. So I'm going to get the new stand soon. So anyhow.
There's housekeeping for you.
There's housekeeping for you. All right, so Cory, I was asked to, I don't think I've told you this story before. If I did, just pretend like I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so it was a few weekends ago.
This is brand new information.
I haven't told it on the podcast, and the last time Nick asked me to tell it took me like 20 minutes to remember the story. But it was after a night of podcasting. It was maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and so decided that at the end of the night we'd all partied after the podcast, a little after show. And Cory had gone to bed, and Nick was going to go to bed. And Cory's doing the futon thing. So smartly not driving home. So give him some credit.
Yep.
And I decided I needed to take an Uber home rather than stay. So, I spent the night on the couch in the basement.
I don't know. I was asleep. So
I got up in the morning.
Your story.
I got up in the morning and I'm ready to leave. So, Cory's asleep, Nick's asleep, and no, Cory, you had left already. It was only me and Nick here. For some reason,
I left before you
super early. Yeah, and you were gone. And
or you slept in super late.
that could have been too, but I don't think so. I think it was probably, I don't know, maybe 10:30ish. Anyway, so I get up and I'm like, I gotta go. So I call an Uber and I could see I get somebody to sign to me, and they're like, okay,
was
15 minutes.
Was that one of the weeks that he couldn't be here? Because you guys were alternating back and forth. There was one weekend where it was just me and you, and then there was another weekend where it was just
I could have sworn he was here, but you could be right.
Why would you have slept on the couch down here if the if I wasn't here and the futon was open?
Because it was cooler down here.
I think it was because I think it was the week you were gone because I was like, why wouldn't you go sleep on the futon? And he was like, yeah, that's Cory's futon.
And I also don't remember ever coming down here in the morning and you being down here. Because I would have remembered that.
Okay, well, that's fair. So maybe you weren't here. So
yeah,
anyway,
I think it was the week. Yeah,
I called for the Uber and I could see on the app they're like 15 minutes away. So I start packing all my stuff up and getting ready to go. And then I realized I open up the app to check it again to see how close he's getting, and I realized that I need a mask, and I don't have a mask. And normally, if Cory was here, I'd be like, "Hey, buddy, you got a mask I can borrow?"
I just provide him with masks.
Yeah, but no, Cory can't do that. So I'm like, let me go to Nick, and so I'm pounding at his bedroom door, like pound, 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 pound. Nothing at all. And I do that for probably a good 45 seconds. Nothing. So I'm not going to get Nick so I start going through his cupboards and I start looking in the closet.
Ooh, Pop-Tarts.
I didn't take any Pop-Tarts. I'm desperately looking for masks. I'm like, I can't not take this Uber. Like, I got to get out of here.
Oop, look, a candy. Oop, look, a candy.
Dog's at home. I need to get home. So I can't find anything. And so finally I'm like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to do the old paper towel trick. So I ripped off a piece of paper towel and I folded it into quarters and I stuffed it underneath my glasses so it's in front of my nose. And I just walked out to the Uber with this square of paper towel hanging in front of my face.
I feel as if it would have been easier for you to just tell the guy, like, hey, man, listen, sorry, I stayed here. I don't have a mask.
He wasn't risking his ride.
I wasn't risking the ride and I didn't want to get another one. And I'm like, I'm taking this car. So he
could have still told you no.
I got it. No. So I walked in with this
Why didn't
big
you just
white
pull your
square.
shirt up over your mouth?
I was hungover, dude.
He had this square of paper towel.
So you had the wherewithal to put
tucked in his glasses.
Right, a square of paper towel under the bridge of your glasses.
Yes.
But yet didn't think about just taking your T-shirt and putting it up over your nose.
Nope. Didn't think about it. So I got in the car, never said a word. And the guy, probably because of this weird guy with this white square in front of his face, drove home the way that I always want someone to drive me home. He was driving like at least 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, trying to time the lights so he doesn't have to stop at all and just keep on going as fast as possible.
Because he thought you were going to murder him.
Probably.
He thought you were insane.
Look at this psycho that is wearing the worst disguise ever to try to kill me.
Cory, and you know it was not like form fitting like a mask would be, so it was probably just this square sticking out.
Yeah. So he dropped me off right at the base of my driveway. I got out. We never said two words to each other. And I walked in the house.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I guess in Bob's defense in that circumstance, like if he had, I'm sure he gets a lot of people that try and pull their shirt up. And they may say like, "Oh, dude, you can't do you got to have a mask." So I think Bob was really trying to maybe if he looks out of his peripheral vision, he'll just see something white on my face and just assume it's a mask.
Okay, if I were that Uber driver, I would much rather have someone pull their shirt up over their nose.
Oh yeah,
and mouth rather than looking.
Oh, you're agreeing with him.
Yeah, I agree. I would want someone to pull their shirt up.
Yeah.
Just a loose piece of paper
if I was
towel.
strict about someone wearing a mask in my car, I would prefer that. If anything, that driver should have turned around and looked at you and been like, dude, it's fine.
Yeah. He didn't do that.
Because even at this point, why? Like,
it's time to drive fast.
Did you at least leave him 5 stars?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can tell you how many stars he left you.
He left me 5 stars.
Because he's probably like, I really don't want this guy still coming back after me and trying to kill me.
I still got a perfect Uber rating, so.
That's surprising.
So happy ending for all of us.
He probably thinks you're special needs. That's why he was like,
That's fine.
You're independent.
That's
Good
fine.
job, buddy. Good job.
You made it. Look at you.
Look at you
Look
trying.
at you.
Wow.
I made this mask on my own.
Should have drew a little smiley face on it. Thanks for the ride.
You have a good one, buddy.
You guys are awful.
You're the one that told the story. Now.
All right, Cory.
And now it's time for booze news.
Okay, I do have a story for you fellas today, and this is a bit of an older story. It's a couple months old. Back in October of last year, This is about the Canucks fan who saved the Canucks team member's life.
I haven't heard this.
So so this lady went to a game, and she was sitting behind the glass, behind the bench for the Canucks. And
I have heard this. Sorry, I just heard it yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Really? Fuck. So there's a gentleman who's an assistant equipment manager for the Canucks named Brian Red Hamilton. And this fan was being very persistent during the game, tapping on the glass and trying to get his attention. And he didn't know what it was about, but, and you know, when you're behind the bench, I assume you get harassed by fans banging the glass all the time.
It happens all the time.
So she was a Canucks fan, and he was actually the trainer for the other team.
For the Leafs.
No, he was the equipment manager for the Canucks.
Okay, well, whatever the story was, she was a fan of the other team.
Oh, she was a
Leaf
fan. She was a Kraken fan. They were playing
Kraken,
Kraken
yes.
at the time.
Close.
Kraken.
Good way to name one NHL team.
Canadian, I think I was doing pretty good.
Good job at sports.
That's the team that we've talked about because Todd's from Seattle. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he did turn around, and she had written a message in big letters and showed him through the glass, telling him that he had a possibly cancerous mole on the back of his neck. And as it turned out, this fan's instincts were correct. He went to his doctor and showed him the mole and had a biopsy, and he found out that it was malignant melanoma in phase 2. So at that stage, it was just in the outer later, and so they were able to remove all of it. So it was a pretty cool thing that she did, and she didn't have to do it. He didn't have to look back, but it just happened to work out. And so in an interview, he said, hey, she extended my life. She didn't take me out of a burning car like the big stories, but she took me out of a slow fire. The words out of the doctor's mouth were that if I ignored that for 4 to 5 years, I wouldn't be here. I didn't know it was there. She pointed out. How she saw it boggles my mind because it wasn't very big. I was wearing a jacket, and I wear a radio on the back of my jacket that hooks on so those cords are there. Like I said, she's a hero. So after taking it to the doctor and getting it biopsied, finding out that it was actually stage 2 cancer, having it removed, he wanted to contact her and let her know how much that she had helped him. So he wrote an open letter to her and did a hashtag hockey Twitter on the Canucks page saying, I'm trying to find a very special person. I need the hockey community's help. To this woman, I'm very much trying to find you. Changed my life, and now I want to find you to say thank you so very much. They identified her really quickly as Nadia Popovici, a 22-year-old University of Washington graduate and aspiring physician who had no idea that this was going on. She had done an overnight shift working for a suicide hotline. This girl seems like she's just an unbearably nice person doing nice things all the time. Her mother saw the tweet when it was reposted in her Ladies of the Kraken Facebook group, which I'm sure Nick belongs to because he knows all about the Kraken.
Yep.
And she replied saying, oh my gosh, this is my daughter. So she just got accepted into multiple medical schools. We have season tickets behind the opposing team. And she noticed this mole on the back of his neck. So she typed a message on her phone, knocked on the glass window to get his attention. We didn't think any more of it. This is absolutely amazing. So they were able to meet the next time that the Kraken and the Canucks played each other. And about 90 minutes before the game, he was able to meet her, take a few pictures. And the two of them, it was a very nice thing. The cool part is that the two teams, the Canucks and the Kraken, joined together to give her a $10,000 scholarship toward her medical school expenses, and then announced it during the first period of the game.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, that's it. So, I did hear that story the other day, and that is very cool. They did an interview though. The two of them actually met in person. It was rough.
Why was it rough?
It was very like awkwardly forced happy conversation.
Oh, between the two of them?
It was like the whatever news place covered it. It wasn't like they let them meet before and like talk a few things out, and then we're like, okay, now we're gonna get you guys on camera. It was literally like they met and the cameras were already rolling, and they were like, oh hey, nice. He's like, yeah, I didn't know what to think when you were telling me about that mole. And it was very awkward. Like I said, they should have sat them down and let them actually talk to each other prior.
Yeah.
And then did the interview. But it was like literally like they hadn't even met for a single second yet, and the cameras were already rolling, and that's how they did the interview.
A certain level of cringe.
Yeah. It just made you feel like you're like just listening to them. I mean, you knew they both had good intentions. They were both actually like happy, but you could tell they were like, camera's here. Okay.
Stage fright, a little
This
Sidney
is
Brady.
weird. Yeah. So you just like trying to make weird conversation, general conversation with each other. But all in all, awesome story.
So you got that removed. It was malignant. No, that's because I thought it was malignant. I sent the message.
I said something about it. I saw it and I said something.
So how's
stage 3?
Medical?
No, stage 2.
You're in medical school, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in medical school.
That's why you guys gave me that $10,000.
Yeah.
Remember that time you looked at my mole and you said it was cancer? Yeah, that was fun,
cool,
man.
Just last weekend.
I do a very uplifting story.
I do have some booze news for you.
Oh, go
while we're
on.
on the topic.
Okay.
Since you discussed a sweet hockey story, there was actually a post of from the Detroit Red Wings maybe a weekend ago, that showed during warm-ups, they were focused on Dylan Larkin skating around and shooting, and he took a shot, missed, and skated past the net, and kind of did that lazy bump into the glass to not actually fully stop, but that's how you stop yourself.
Yeah.
Well, there was actually a fan sitting directly behind the net, even during, this was like early warm-ups, not pregame warm-ups. And when he did that to the glass, it knocked over the person's beer they had sitting there on the on the
which you could argue should probably be on the ticket, going like, if you don't want your
you,
beer to get spilled,
you should
don't
know
put it
sitting
there.
down there, do not do that.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe it was their first time sitting front row, whatever.
Sure.
And when Larkin did that, he turned around and saw that he knocked the guy's beer over, and he was clearly mic'd up that game, and you just hear him. He's like, "Oh no!" He's like, "Man, that's terrible." So he skates over to the bench.
It's okay, Corey. Just take it slow.
I know I'm starting to choke up.
Get choked up.
He skates over the bench and asks the trainer, the equipment trainer that was back there. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "You got 20 bucks on you?" And he's like, I think so. Why? He's like, "Why do you want $20 from me?" He's like, I just knocked that guy's beer over behind the glass there, and he points him out. He's like, I have 20 in my locker. He's like, you can either run and grab that or just give him your 20 and I'll pay you back after the game. And then it cuts to, sure enough, there was the equipment trainer running over and gave the guy $20, and he goes, "That's from Dylan Larkin for spilling your beer." And
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
I wonder, fellas, what that conversation might have sounded like after the game was over and Dylan was getting dressed and ready to go home, and the equipment manager's wondering where his $20 was.
Hey,
Hey, Jimmy, what's going on?
Hey, Dylan.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, man, great job managing that equipment tonight.
I was just wondering, that 20 earlier?
$20?
Yeah. You know
I'm sorry,
that 20 I used for the guy's beer you knocked over?
Oh, what, did I knock that over?
Yeah. You asked me for 20. Remember? It happened. Right
I
before
know
the game.
I knocked a beer over, and I thought I told you to tell the guy that I'm sorry. Hopefully you did that.
Yeah, no, I gave him $20 that you asked me for.
I
so,
did? Okay.
yeah.
Well, man, that was really nice of you. Thanks, buddy.
So see you next game, I guess, huh?
Yeah, see you.
Right.
See you tomorrow.
Whew, glad you make millions a year. I will just make my equipment manager salary and go about my way.
I love that he had to say, "I've got 20 in my locker," like as if this professional hockey player is not going to be good for 20.
Yeah.
No, and I kind of found it funny too, because I was also like,
Right.
couldn't one of them just literally go to like a concession stand and be
Yeah.
like, "I need a beer now"?
Yeah,
I'm part of the team, and I
Yeah.
explained to them why.
I'm the equipment manager.
Yeah, and I need to take it to someone. I would hope that anyone in the building would be like, "Oh, well, yeah, here."
I would imagine they would just make a phone call and be like, "Hey, this guy for the rest of the night, give him free beers, and whatever the bill is, just send it to me."
I wonder what it would sound like when that guy who was working the concession stand, who gave the $20 a beer to the equipment manager, went to the assistant equipment manager again to get his $20 back.
The equipment manager went directly to the guy. It was actually him that walked the $20 over.
Corey, but what would it sound like?
Yeah, what would it sound like?
Dude, you got me for one. I was on board.
I thought I was going to get him for another one.
I was on board with that.
I was waiting for her to go, hey, man, hey, Jimmy. Oh, hey, Paul, what's going on?
No, you're
Not much, man. Hey, remember that beer?
Nice try.
We got to work on that, guys.
Slowly but surely.
Tom and Bert would have done that.
I think Tom's done falling for Bert shenanigans.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I've listened to all the last episodes, and
Really? He's getting ready to like call it quits?
No, I don't think he's getting ready to call it quits. He's done feeding into a lot of Bert stuff.
Okay. So it's kind of
Like
out its welcome. With
yeah,
him.
he finds a lot of it funny, but you can tell he's not dumping as much gasoline on the fire as he normally would.
You think it's basically just become a lot of shtick?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Which Bert seems to prefer or thrive in.
yeah. And
But
Tom's
doesn't.
not about that.
That's a shame.
We'll see. I don't know.
We'll
I could
see.
be completely wrong too. I don't know. That's just what I gather from it.
It's happened on a few occasions.
That's fair. Well, while you got the floor, Cory, normally Todd would do the airing of grievances section, which, Nick, I got to get you to come up with something for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's just a, soundbite,
Oh, okay.
which apparently we're not going to get now. So,
Well, did you hear Todd's? What did he play by mouth on the last episode?
oh, he did.
Harmonica.
He did.
Yes.
What did we do?
I can't-
Existential question?
What did he
No,
play
I
by
can't-
mouth?
No, it was booze news.
Booze news. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did your booze news. Like, it was pitch perfect.
No, I heard it. I didn't care for it.
You didn't hear it.
Of course,
I
you
did hear it. I was in the room, like saying hi to you guys 5 times, and no one even looks in the chat. I'm like, now I know how our audience feels.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's Todd,
this,
that's Todd's job.
blah 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 that, da 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 this, and I'm like, they haven't paid
So-
attention to one person in the room.
Sorry, I was too big. I don't even know if I could have opened the room
we
on.
were
on
just trying to keep the whole thing
Dude,
afloat.
you were both like, yo, if Nick was here, he'd blah blah blah. I'm like, oh yeah, no, ha ha. Like I said something. And you're like, oh, yeah, so Nick's he's probably at home sitting next to the shocker phone right now. And I'm like, actually, I'm right here. And then, like, you guys are just oblivious.
Yeah, well, I already knew I couldn't pull it up on my laptop and watch it and stream it there because I'm like, there's no way the Wi-Fi is going to allow that. And then every time I'd look down at the switcher iPad, one of us would be frozen, so I'd have to take that camera down to a single camera and then try to bring that back. So yeah, there was no paying attention to any comments that episode.
Just imagine the bandwidth going to the 55-inch TV upstairs with Pornhub for Jack while you guys are trying to stream that episode.
He wasn't home yet, so that was when we still had good bandwidth.
I love how Bob
Yeah, right.
disapprovingly goes, what? when anytime he's explained bandwidth at his house,
doesn't
he's
have
like,
my login.
He's like, oh,
It's mine.
Jack's got video games going, and he's watching something on Netflix, and he's on Facebook on his phone, and he's watching
Yeah.
porn on his computer, and he's got all these different things going.
I'm just listing all the possibilities. I'm not taking an inventory of what he's actually doing.
I will say it was funny because Bob did mention before the episode, he was like, I told Jack while we're doing the episode,
No porn.
no playing games,
No downloading games.
no streaming this, no doing that. Jack wasn't even home yet.
Went upstairs. Sure enough, wet lone sock on the floor.
The second Jack came home, he poked his head in the kitchen. He's like, hey, we're like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
Everything shut down.
Let the masturbation begin.
Everything. That's when everything started going real south.
Yeah.
So I'm like, clearly Jack wasn't listening to your no streaming rule for tonight.
So as soon as he came home, everything like a brownout.
Yeah. The light started to dim.
Yeah, everything was not an issue until.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cars that were passing by my house started to slow down.
I could only assume Jack was upstairs like, those idiots, they don't know how Wi-Fi works. I could easily do this, and it's not going to affect anything.
Jack goes up to his 15-switch light switch. All right, let's get everything turned on.
Hits the big main breaker for his bedroom. Yeah. So, airing of grievances, Cory.
Yes. So my airing of a grievance this week, since Todd is not with us, you guys, have you ever been watching a show of any sort and a little commercial break comes on and there's like this elaborate just setup of a commercial? It's like there's 2 people dancing on Mars and they're floating in the air and there's all this crazy music playing and you're like, what the hell? Like, what could they be promoting? This is going to be insane. It's going to be
the Chanel commercials.
It's going to be so good. And the second it fucking ends, Chanel number 5.
It is.
I'm like,
is it the Chanel commercials?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
hate those.
I'm like, what exactly does any of what just occurred in front of me have to do with this fragrance? Millions of dollars on a commercial.
As soon as you said that, it made me think of the Chanel commercials because it's like, dun, 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 and they're like walking up invisible stairs and they're like dancing.
Thank you.
They're dancing into space and it's like, and it's like all this violin music and then all of a sudden it's like,
Et des toilettes Chanel number 5.
And
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
That wasn't bad, actually.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck is this?
They've been doing that for decades.
Every time I see him, I get so upset. Like the most recent one was with Johnny Depp. And he's out in this desert playing a guitar, plays like 2 riffs off of a guitar. And then there's like all these wolves following him. And it's like, oh, de toi. I'm like, what? How does...
I think you mean eau de toilette.
Yeah, sure.
It's toilet water.
That was the joke.
Yeah.
But
Remember Joey trying to speak French?
Yeah.
Cela la pluie!
When I put that stuff on, that's how I feel. Like playing the guitar in a desert and being chased by wolves.
not chased, like they were following him, like he was the leader of their pack.
Dude, anytime now, especially with Hulu, if I see a very weird, out there, modern / classical commercial, I'm like, okay. And it's usually got some kind of celebrity that I don't understand who it is. So it's like I don't know, some fucking chick pop singer or something that I don't know who it is. And
You know who they are.
no, I don't.
You were just saying how awesome you are at pop music
What?
when you guys are battling between Sierra and
Missy
else.
Elliott?
Say I was
Elliott.
awesome at pop music. I
I'll
said
go back to the tape.
90s
I'll get back to
R&B.
the tape.
90s R&B, I believe is what I said. But yeah, it'll be like some new artist or something, and it'd be like, or like Jennifer Lopez running with like pearls on or some shit, and then
It's the dumbest shit ever. It has nothing to do with, and I can only imagine what these companies spent to just get Johnny Depp or Jennifer Lopez to be in their commercial, and the amount that they put into the production of it. It doesn't
like,
make any sense to how you can explain how you're going to put that much money into that commercial, and the products. There's no way you're getting that kind of return on that product. There's just not.
It's like an overmodulated like commercial. Like it's like they film it like a movie.
But the answer is that they absolutely do make a fortune on that commercial because they've done it for a long, long time. Back in the 80s, they did it with Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields did Calvin Klein jeans, and it was just a slow shot of her like reclining on jeans, like a close-up on just her legs and all up, and then on her ass, and she's like, no one comes between me and my Calvins.
Though that's way different to me, though.
Why is that?
Because that's you're using her figure and
Sexuality,
form and sexuality to sell a clothing item.
Yeah.
Perfume and fragrance has nothing to do with. I'm sorry, but it doesn't have anything to do with sexuality and it's even beyond that with these commercials. Like I said, there's people floating on Mars while they're dancing. I'm like, that doesn't correlate to the product they're trying to sell, the wares they're trying to peddle.
But imagine the scent that Johnny Depp's body would make being chased by wolves.
All I think of is disgusting pirate. That's all I think of.
Why is the rum always gone?
Yeah, that's the only scent I can.
No, he wants you to ask him.
Oh,
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's a line from Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah, that's what I figured. But
Why is the rum always gone?
Okay.
old man McGee over here, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Well,
Those movies are way after my time.
Oh, dude, I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. When they made that meme of Johnny Depp in the what's his face from the movie?
Yep.
What is his name? The captain.
I cannot remember.
I can't either for whatever reason.
Danielle, name of the captain in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Jack Sparrow?
Yeah,
Jack Sparrow, yeah.
Okay.
There's a picture of Jack Sparrow looking into a dusty rum bottle.
I know that part. Yeah.
Yeah, and they made a meme of it that said, drinking rum in the morning doesn't make you an alcoholic, makes you a pirate. Absolutely.
I'm gonna stick with that.
I love that.
Let's get a pirate hat and.
I said I didn't quote it from a meme. I just said it that I saw it on Facebook to Mike, and he was like in stitches. Like there are very few things that make Mike laugh, and he's oh, that's a good one. I'm like
Those Brits.
I know.
So easy sometimes.
I do say.
All right, Nick.
Hip hip.
Existential question of the week.
It's Todd still with us, even in spirit.
God rest his soul. All right, so there were a couple of existential questions to pick for this week, and this one just tickled my fancy.
Tickled you pink, huh?
tickled me pink just like the shit you drink in the freezer.
You guys are making me uncomfortable.
So this existential question of this week is, if you could pick one famous person to be your neighbor, who would it be and why?
Ooh,
If you could pick one person to be your neighbor.
that's a good question.
I don't know if we want to come back to it. Because I'm going to have to think of mine for a second.
I'll take a bullet for the team and go first if you want.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have a lot of easy answers.
You're old. You can think fast.
You know a lot of celebrities.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of neighbors. You understand how neighbors work.
All right. So who would it be?
I think it'd have to be Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Why?
Dude's hilarious. If I had him over for a beer or to watch the game, I'd have a great time. I feel like he'd keep a clean house. I feel like he wouldn't be throwing like late night parties and keeping my kids up and generally like all sorts of shenanigans and making fucking trouble. I feel like it'd be a home run with Tom Hanks.
Oh, I got mine. It's another Tom.
All right.
It's another Tom.
No discussion on mine. Right to Nick's. He's got his answer. Go
No,
ahead,
I
sir.
didn't. Was
Go
there
ahead, sir.
more? I mean, you.
No, that was it. I didn't know this was supposed to be just to name the celebrity and then we're done.
No. What else do you have to say, please?
Nothing, I guess.
I mean,
You're having drinks with him? He's not keeping
Corey
you up at night?
Literally is like, why? Explain why.
Oh, I didn't hear him say
why.
He's
That's-
like, I got mine. All right, well, that's all right.
I don't know. I mean, what else? Please, I would love to hear more about Tom Hanks being your neighbor.
I guess I was done.
He's not going to keep you up. He's not going to be loud.
I guess I was done.
You could have a beer with him.
My bad.
We're both the same age. Is that what you're trying to go for?
No. That's not what I was trying to go for.
Mine would be Tom Holland.
Now you're just copying off of me, man.
They're two different people.
Same first name.
My middle
Come
name's
on.
Tom.
Come on, buddy.
Same first, last initial.
Come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Not even funny.
No, it would be Tom Holland because any interview.
You
so
want to see Zendaya walking into that
that's
front
what
door.
I'm saying. It comes with a
Yeah.
plus.
Yep.
It comes with a plus. He's going to be with Zendaya.
For
but-
now. Yeah.
Both of them are like the coolest people on earth. Like if you've ever seen any interview with them, like they're the coolest, most down to earth people. And I think that they would be a lot of fun to party with.
Okay.
I mean, every single
You
interview.
think that Zendaya would come to your house to have a party?
Well, Tom would convince her. Tom's more of a down to earth kind of guy, more so than she is. But-
How many weekends do you think that Nick would work to work on Tom to try to get Tom on his side?
Oh, it wouldn't
that
take
he'll
long.
Bring Zendaya.
It would take a very long time.
But-
he knows what's up.
Yeah.
But
He's
I
Spider-Man.
see any interview with him, like he'll do any interview. He's very humbling. He's very much like a normal, down to earth kind of guy. He like donates his times going to like children's hospitals and doing all that. Like he's just a really cool person. And she and him, any of their relationship I see together, like they're just the coolest couple in the world. And I think they'd be a lot of fun. I don't think they'd be like, oh, you're not famous. I feel like they'd be like, well, this is our new neighbor.
I think his spider sense would be tingling very quickly
No.
on the
What Nick's
the
going
game.
for?
Right. Yeah.
Probably.
He would pick up on it really quickly.
I'm sure Nick wouldn't have been the first. So
The problem too is that Tom Holland can't keep a secret. So
I know.
you can't count on him to not.
I'm not gonna be
tell
like,
Zendaya.
hey Tom, I'm secretly in love with your girlfriend here. Don't tell her.
probably the right
The
person
next
to
day
tell.
she'd come over and knock on your door and slap you right in the
I've
face.
seen every single interview with him where he's like, oh yeah, this and this and this, and he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, can you tell us about that Endgame movie? Well, I mean, there's a bunch of us who die. Oops. Probably shouldn't have said that.
He actually said in one of the interviews that he showed up to a scene thinking they were gonna be like they were shooting a beach scene, and it ended up being like something in space. And he's like, where is the beach? And they're like, oh, Tom, we only told you that it was a beach because we didn't want you to give this away to everybody.
Well, at least people know.
Yeah. It's actually a hilarious thing to search through YouTube for Tom Holland interviews where the other Marvel guys literally have to sit next to him and keep going like, no, I'll take that question. No, you just
He's
don't
like
talk.
he's like a child. Like he was doing a Facebook Live, and he's like, oh, this is cool. You know, I just got something from Marvel Studios, and let's see what this is. And he literally opened it, and the back is facing the camera, and he's just looking at the front. And the back says, Marvel Studios, official business only, confidential.
Oh, that's good.
Do not disclose to anyone. And he was clueless, because a lot of the stuff you're like, okay, he's fucking around. But he is so like a child, like he has no idea. And he opens it up and he's like, oh, dear Tom, we see here that, and I'm so happy that the franchise is going in this direction. And blah, blah. He's like, that was pretty nice of him. And it was the director. And he's like, so you got to, oh, shit. He turns the camera off.
That's the guy you want keeping your secrets from
What secrets am I
gorgeous
telling?
girlfriend?
Hey, guess what? I really think your girlfriend's hot.
And again, I don't think that would work out too well for you.
No.
So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We've all been over to Nick's house after the podcast.
It'd be the long game.
At 2:33 in the morning.
They'd be there.
Really drunk. You and Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be some secrets spilled.
Dude,
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are doing tomorrow night, but your girlfriend's really hot. I think you guys should come over. Don't tell her I said that.
I feel like Nick would go the route that all of a sudden he'd be making bets and wanting to go see Marvel movies and being like, oh, I bet this happens in the movie. And we'd be like, no, there's no way. Come to find out, fucking Tom Holland was just spilling the beans about all the movies.
Dude, he was over last night.
Damn it, Tom.
All the times we've been here, we've never seen him. He lives right next door.
That's another $500 I just lost to Nick due to that Marvel movie.
You'd have a lot of Marvel movies to catch. I know you are not a fan. You'd have a lot to catch up.
But I think that's why, kind of like how Tony and I hit it off. I don't like sports. He loves sports. It's like the opposites attract. He'd be like, oh, this one movie I shot. I'd be like, yep, didn't see it. But of course,
this friendship I see just going like gangbusters.
I think,
but yet, according to you before the podcast, you are great at sports.
He's great at sports.
Sport.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, sport.
I think he would appreciate someone not like ooh and like over what he does.
No, he's an actor. Actors live for people to fawn over them. That's their job.
Except for Tobey Maguire. Did you see him? He hates everybody.
I think the general consensus is that he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And isn't making a ton of movies anymore because
Well, I was going to say, he had that early on Spider-Man fame, and then that kind of just, after that was about it.
Well, they show like side-by-sides of how Tobey Maguire deals with fans and how Tom Holland does.
Didn't I ask you, Cory, didn't I assign you to watch that Jessica Chastain movie where she was running that gambling ring?
Yes. Yeah.
That poker night?
Mm-hmm.
The character that, what the hell's his name? From Arrested Development. Michael Cera.
Yeah.
The character that Michael Cera played was supposed to be Tobey Maguire.
Kicked him out of it?
In real life. Yeah, he was that much of a dick, fucking people over for money, taking advantage of her, stealing the game from her. That was supposed to be based on the true life behind the scenes stories.
Oh, the actual
Tobey Maguire. Because back in the day,
okay.
like Kevin Smith, Ben Affleck, a lot of famous people, Matt Damon, would go to these.
That's right. I couldn't remember the full premise of the movie. Now that you mentioned that, yeah. Okay.
And Toby was one of those people, and there's stories everywhere from all sorts of people who played with him. Where they're like, yeah, he was just an asshole.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so many videos of him. Like paparazzi will be just like across the street, like taking pictures. He's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like flipping them off and trying to, skirt away in his car and like almost hitting him, and it's ridiculous. Tom Holland's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like he's like waving at him and laughing. Like
Tom Holland's the best.
He is the best. So Cory, who's yours?
Going back to your earlier conversation, I would have to say Bert Kreischer.
Okay, so when we were just talking about Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer possibly not being on the same page anymore on their own.
Yeah, that's my own assumption.
But so you're not taking the Tom Segura stance that Bert Kreischer's shtick is getting old.
Oh no, dude! I think he'd be an awesome neighbor. Like, just imagine what he would bring to the table as far as a neighbor, as far as parties, just an overall good time. He is a great guy. So
much like Tom Holland is a great guy, I've heard.
Yeah, I think he'd be a fantastic neighbor, and it'd be good times every day.
I think I feel like Danielle would divorce you almost instantly.
Cory, this is like the third time you've blown us off for the Schnozzcast. What's going on, man?
Sorry, dude, I'm on the Bertcast. Yeah. I got bigger and better things now.
What about your baby? Now, man, Bert's got the hot tub going. We're going to smoke a little weed later. Maybe do some shrooms.
A lot.
Yeah, I don't see that going well.
Corey.
I do.
I see Danielle selling that house for a loss very quickly.
Over the fence, burping the baby. Corey, get out of the hot tub now.
Fake laugh hiding real tears.
Yeah, I just think it'd be an overall good time.
An overall good time. I don't. So when it comes to Bert Kreischer, he just has a. You can listen to any interview or any podcast that he's on. He just seems like a very flighty guy who can't quite stick to one thing or another.
Oh no, he's got definite ADHD. That's for sure. He can't. Stay
That along
focused
with
on...
the hellaciously heavy amounts of drinking that he does, and
Corey and him would be dead.
Yeah, I don't think he would last very long.
I think I would. I think that's.
It would be the worst thing to happen to you.
I think that's a ruse.
I don't think so,
dude. Because he would definitely be dead if he went as hard as they make it seem. There's no way he'd be walking around in the shape that he's in.
This is the guy who the movie Van Wilder was based on, who went to USC and was the #1 party school in the country. And when Rolling Stone went to do a story on the #1 party school in the country, they went to USC and they started asking around.
I'm aware.
Who should we talk to? Who's the biggest party guy in the school? And they're like, 100% Bert Kreischer. He's been here for 7 years. Doesn't want to leave. Go talk to him. And they bought the rights to his life as a USC student, and that became the movie. So that's the guy you think it's all a ruse?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Corey would die.
No good could come from this.
Corey would die well before he did. Because
you never know.
Because with us, at least, like, you know, we have kind of a codependent friendship, but to an extent, the three of us.
Oh, okay.
The three of us. But to an extent, there is still some logic that comes out of the woodwork every now and then, and I feel like it's us trying to reel Corey in. So with no one reeling him in, with people taking him further out into the water, like Bert Kreischer, I think it would just be a very short-lived time being a neighbor, and then Danielle would be a widow, and that would be it.
No, we'd be fine.
We'd be just fine.
We'd be best pals. I didn't put that back in the freezer.
I put it back in there, actually. Yeah, it's been sitting on. It's been sitting down here forever, so he just needs to suck on the teat and get that fucking pink lady out of here.
There's another full one in there.
I know. I saw it. Trying to get the rest of the milk out of there.
This is good enough.
Okay.
Ooh, you know what, Bob? I bet if you mix those two, as disgusting as it would look, and probably as curdle as it would get,
strawberry and peanut butter to get the
peanut butter and jelly.
I don't know, man. That's more kind of a milky than it was strawberry.
That's what she said. Oh,
sure.
It already looks like someone ejacked into my fucking cup here. Look at this.
Like they were sickly.
Look at
yeah, it didn't quite. Yeah, they didn't quite do the job. Like they had just done it an hour previously, and they're like, "Okay, I guess this is all you're getting."
Hasn't floated to the top or bottom yet. Suspended animation.
That's it, dude.
That's all I got.
I just did. It's 6 o'clock. I just did it at 5.
I say 5 minutes ago. I just finished my last one.
Yeah.
Peanut butter jelly time.
Well, if that doesn't get you want to do a shot, I can't tell you what will. So
yeah.
Please join us. We're going to do the shot for the podcast. Cheers.
Clink. Oh, yeah.
That was not as much as I thought it was going to be.
You might be onto something there.
I'm telling you, if you mix the two, PB&J.
Not 50-50.
Oh, I mean, it might be worth. I would try it.
A 50-50 mix of that?
Yeah, because you're just getting a very, very tiny hint of the strawberry in the peanut butter right now.
Okay.
As we said, Corey, when we're like, oh.
Yeah, no, I get it.
What we wanted to do this week was we said, hey, listen, now that we have a full keg down here, now that we have a keg, let's go.
Did you tell the fans what you got for Christmas?
Oh, yeah. So Lori, basically.
Hey, now stop.
No. So I got a kegerator in the basement, and I had to go get the new tank filled. It's a small tank. Not a lot of places fill it, but I found a place that would do it. And it fits 6th barrels, which is so weird because the design of the keg, if they didn't put like a little step inside of it, you could easily fit a new like a new skinny quarter barrel, because they don't make them fat anymore. They make them like skinny and taller. But so I got Blood Orange Honey from Sheboygan Brewing Company, which is actually 6.8%. To my point, that we normally, at least I don't drink, high proof beers on the show. I'll usually have like Blue Light, which is like 4.3%. So we're picking this week to now drink from the keg, so almost double percentage of alcohol. And we thought, hey, let's get a milky liqueur that's got moonshine in it, and let's mix that with whiskey that tastes like peanut butter. That sounds great.
That's what he brought, though, right? Because I know you wouldn't buy that.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. It was an impulse buy, and I'm like, well, it's been sitting in my fridge for probably 3 weeks now, and I'd rather like somebody try it.
Then it expire.
Well, I'm not going to drink an entire one of those by myself.
Corey, that vitamin D milk goes pretty quickly. So.
See Bob just sitting on his couch.
Pour it on my cereal.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine that by the end of the bowl? Just head on the table.
Oh, also, before you come over to Nick's, make sure that what you've had for dinner is fish leftovers from last night.
Fish?
Yeah.
Is that what you had?
That's what I had.
Oh, wonderful.
I was
That's
like, is
great.
this actually going somewhere?
You know what kind of... my
dinner, I felt like, was the worst example of what you could have eaten before you drank all the things you just...
Yeah, higher proof beer, moonshine and milk, and peanut butter whiskey.
And then,
may as well throw in
salmon.
Throw in some Easy Mac and Frank's Red Hot, Corey, and we have another night in your basement.
That pink vomit.
It was orange.
Oh,
it was orange because
it was pink by morning.
It was Crown, Jesus, mac and cheese, very yellow, and Frank's Red Hot. So it was like a bright reddish orange, and milk.
That's sad. Remember the milk.
Yep. It was disgusting.
Everybody listening to us now is agreeing with you.
Oh, God, it was so nasty.
All right, fellas, why don't we take a break, and we'll come back in just a few minutes. So go out there, hit the restroom, get yourself another drink, kiss your friends, kiss your loved ones.
Kiss your friends.
Kiss your friends.
I'm not kissing you guys on
Kiss
the break.
the first person you
Kiss
see.
the first person you see, and come back and join us. We'll be right back. All right, let's do Little Gentleman's Agreement, fellas.
Oh, it's the MF and Gentleman's Agreement. Oh, done.
All right, let's start with Cory. Cory, you had to watch Life in Pieces, I think by Todd.
From
right?
Todd, yeah.
Yeah. 30-second synopsis.
Of course, yes. We always keep with the 30 seconds for sure. So yeah,
I feel like that was directed towards someone.
No clue who that would be.
Okay.
So series came out in 2015, starring Colin Hanks, Zoe Lister. Can't think of her last name or the full last name.
Listerine.
Yes, Listerine. Dude, I am on season 4. I've been watching it all week. Not just the assigned 2 episodes, or it would have been 4 episodes. No, and the reason why, because it's a great show.
It's amazing.
It's a very, very good show.
All right, so Todd should know that he's getting like a fantastic review this week.
You and Todd are just like right there.
Yeah,
I mean, we're
it's
not
not a
gonna-
race, but
I'm kind of in the lead.
Maybe
You guys are both.
depends.
Yeah, no, dude, he knocked it out of the park. No laugh tracks. Everything's actually funny. I've actually laughed a bunch during it,
Zing.
unlike
I
another
don't care.
sitcom that I was recently assigned.
I don't care.
Yeah, dude, it's absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
And I unfortunately there's only 4 seasons.
What is the quick spoiler free? Like, what's it about?
So they take, it's almost like a mash of The Office, Modern Family, and Married with Children, all in like a modern day setting.
Everything's modern. Very
And
modern.
You know, Married with Children had a laugh track.
I don't believe it did.
They had a studio audience.
Okay, Peg.
No, exactly. They didn't have a laugh track. They had a live studio audience, not a laugh track.
Well, so did Seinfeld.
No, that was a laugh track. So, anyways, they basically give you 4 stories all in one episode of things that are going on with different parts of the family, and it's like basically a little 5-minute quick synopsis of what occurred in their life that day, and then it'll cut over to another part of the family, what occurred to them that day, and it's to me, it's fucking hilarious.
Okay.
Checks all the boxes for a good sitcom.
All right.
So if no one's seen it, definitely go check it out.
Where can they find it?
Hulu. Yes, Hulu.
Okay.
What is it called?
Life in Pieces.
Life in Pieces.
So I was mentioning to Nick on the way over that you gave your review for Seinfeld last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
He didn't only mention it. He made me listen to it.
Yeah, I made him listen to it. So, but I forgot to ask you, did you not? One of the reasons why I picked the 5 episodes I gave you was because
They were all terrible.
great
yes,
example of the fact that there is actually a studio audience there.
Oh, it's a terrible example of it. There's not a studio audience there.
Hold on. Hate Jerry's voice.
Yeah,
Hate it.
yeah,
Hate all the characters.
everyone.
Could be comedy gold, but they threw it out the window.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Hate the laugh track. Hate situational comedy.
Doesn't think that there was a studio audience there.
No, they
No,
just
there wasn't.
they just don't know how to do situational comedy.
They don't understand it.
That killed the entire season, entire show.
Seriously. Now I know that you're in the club. Don't, like, if we're upstairs and I say, "Oh, look, I made this chicken soup from scratch." Don't say like "no soup for you" or anything like that. It's not going to.
I never would. It was
Cory, I understand now that you understand some of the jokes, but just don't jump on board because you're not a true fan.
I wouldn't call it a joke. It was
I mean, Cory,
It was an ironic musing.
it was obnoxious.
what's the deal with this?
Dude. So I was pulling my hair out every second
Wow.
watching that.
All right. So moving on.
Moving on.
Nick, you had Usual Suspects back when you were also well. For me.
Usual Suspects from Robert.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Usual Suspects had a lot of people in it that I like. There was Kevin Spacey, who, regardless of what's going on, I still think he's a good actor. And the Carla's boyfriend from Cheers was one of the cops in it.
Dan Hedaya.
Sure.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other people that if I watched a lot of movies, I'd probably know.
Okay.
But I've seen before.
Fair enough.
I know him.
It was very, very, for me, in my internalized ADD, it was very hard for me to get on board with it, like, at the beginning. It was a slow start as far as I was concerned. They didn't make it readily apparent from the beginning why all the police officers in Los Angeles had New York accents until like halfway through the movie. They're like, yeah, back in New York, when we started back in New York. And I'm like, okay, well, at least they're trying to tie that, because I get like that, okay, that our version of a Cockney New York accent, is what you think of in cop shows because of NYPD Blue and all those things like that. But I'm like, if they're just using these people because they sound mafia-esque and they sound like a cop, like, that's going to really annoy me. I wish, and maybe there was, because it was hard for me to get on board with it, maybe there was something that was extremely apparent in the beginning that said, yeah, we're all cops from New York and we're going to go work in Los Angeles, but I missed that part then. So I was fixated on that. I saw a few times I was looking at my phone and I'm like, oh, God, what is going on with this fucking movie? And then it started to pick up, and then I really liked it. So I have some mixed reviews on it. I would say, considering Todd's not here, I'll grade it, so I'll give it a C+.
So just because Todd's not here, you'll give it a grade?
Yeah, I'll give it a grade because I feel like we're missing that aspect of the show. But I feel like that it had a lot of good actors, and they could have done a little bit better of a job. But I liked the way it ended. I liked the action sequences in it. I liked the twists and the turns right down to the end. I love that kind of shit. So it's definitely above average, but it was just a little confusing at the beginning.
Okay. Did you? You said you liked the ending, so were you?
I really like the ending.
Thing about that. I mean, obviously, without giving it away. I mean, it's been out there for a while, so I probably don't have to say spoiler free. But if we're just going to say, spoiler free.
Yeah.
Were you surprised by the ending, or were you like, oh, I saw that coming a mile away?
No, probably in the last 7 minutes of the movie, I anticipated the ending.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, it's going to be this guy. This is what's going to happen. And that's the way it was.
Gotcha.
So, but I still liked it. I really liked that part of it. I like a twist and a turn like that. But the good part is I didn't see it coming in the beginning, and I didn't see it in the middle or even 3/4 through. So, but yeah, all the Office like interrogation scenes like were dry to me. Like, I understand what they were going for after seeing it, but it was just like a long buildup.
Right.
I would say they definitely played the long game on that part of the movie. That wasn't I don't think meant to be obviously action packed or even intriguing. Like at the time you're watching it, that is literally just for the end,
Right.
To be like, oh,
And I'm like, oh my God, give me a fucking break. Come on. Okay. How many more questions? I feel like I'm being interrogated.
yeah, that was definitely a long play.
Yeah,
in
it was.
the movie, but like I say, it had a point at the end, obviously.
Sure. And I got that. So yeah, so it was, I would recommend it to someone with stipulation.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. I had to watch The Alpinist from Cory.
Fuck yeah.
He assigned this to me because
Please hate it.
He and I had both watched Free Solo and really, really liked it, which was Alex Honnold, rock climbing flick, which was really, really good. So The Alpinist was kind of in that same vein. It was a guy named Marc-Andre Leclerc who liked to do alpine climbs rather than just, bare rock climbs,
Well, I will interject and say that,
Yeah.
I mean, so the first guy, I can never remember their names, but
Which one?
from Free Solo,
Alex Honnold.
Alex Honnold, he was just a strict rock climber
Yeah.
that did free solo rock climbing.
Yeah.
Mark,
Andre Leclerc.
he would do free soloing and rock climbing, but would also do alpine climbs and like Everest climbs, but under the stipulation that he did it on his own. So he to me he would go to more extreme conditions
Oh,
than
100%.
than Alex would.
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong, Alex is still crazy and does a great job at what he does, but Mark would go to places that no one would think of to climb, and then to even go on top of that, he would do it on his own and not tell anyone where he was at.
That's the thing. And I don't want to give any spoilers to this because it is very good. I would recommend Free Solo. I'd recommend The Alpinist, which is, I want to say it's Netflix. But, man, first of all, those guys are kind of nuts, that do that stuff. Solo rock climbing is kind of crazy when you think about it. And to watch it, when I watched Free Solo, I was like, oh, man, it just makes you nervous. But I never really felt like, I'm like, well, they've got a camera guy filming him while he's doing it. He would do these climbs and it would be, he would let people know that he was doing the climbs. But now The Alpinist is about a guy who has decided to take it to the furthest degree. And like you said, this dude goes, you know what? And he's got a girlfriend who figures prominently in the flick. But he goes, hey, babe, I'm going to go do this mountain. I'm thinking about doing it. But then when he finally goes to do it, he doesn't tell her that he's doing it. He just hops on a plane and he goes to do it. And he doesn't tell anybody where he's going. He doesn't tell anybody which mountain he's climbing or where he's climbing it. And then he goes, I'm not going to bring any cameras to film me doing it. I'm just going to go me. I'm going to go first light, or I'm going to, very, very before first light. I'm going to go super, super early. And I figure it's going to take me X amount of hours to get to the top. And no one's going to know that I'm doing this. So if I get into any trouble, I'm utterly fucked.
Yeah, big time.
And by the way, when I do it, I'm just going to eyeball it from a distance. I'm not going to plan my route. I'm not going to look at the terrain. I'm not going to look at the weather. I'm not going to look at what's my best route and try to plan that. I'm just going to go like, I think I'm going to do that with just as much planning as like you or I would do if you're standing there looking for a mountain for like 10 minutes.
So the way I kind of thought about it was like, if you and I were to stand at like the bottom of the hill at Ford Field in Dearborn and just be like, oh, we can just run any which way up this hill we want to.
Yeah.
But knowing that there's no danger to it, we're going to make it up that hill. And no matter what route we take, it's a very simple thing to do. That's how I kind of viewed like his mindset. Like he looked at these monstrous mountains and I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to plan this out because I'm going to get to the top.
Brimming with confidence. But I would say a little foolhardy because as he's explaining this and as they're going on in the movie and you're seeing him put this plan into action and he's having a great time. He's taken the climbing world by storm. People are like, who the fuck is this kid? And no one ever really knows. All they know is that he decided to go to this particular mountain and he got to the top and he tweeted and took a little FaceTime thing saying, hey, I'm here. And he would post it or send it to his girlfriend over and it would make the rounds. And he was this like young whiz kid, rock climbing guy. But the whole time I'm going like, this shit is going to come and it's going to come back to bite you. Like there's no way. I get how confident you are, but the risk that you're taking is so great that even if you had with all those things I just mentioned, if you just took out one of them, like, okay, I'm not going to do any research. I'm just going to climb this mountain by feel. I'm looking at it like I can kind of tell, and I'm not going to solve any problem that needs to be solved on the way up. But I like to have somebody down here filming me in case I fall, and they can call for an ambulance or call the authorities to helicopter me out. He's like, nope, I'm not doing that. Either. Yeah. So there's, 5 or 6 factors that are just safety or good common sense that he could take, and he decided to take none of those things. If he had opted to take 1 or 2 of those things at any moment, he would have probably been, I would have been like, all right, well, he's just a daredevil. But the whole thing just made it seem to me kind of like he was just foolhardy and took a lot of unnecessary risks for the thrill. Like he got a thrill out of like being in absolute jeopardy. And he's like, I'm the only one that can figure this way out. Me. That's it. And I'm going to do it. And none of you fuckers can do it but me. And, so that was the flick. I thought it was really, really entertaining. I'm not going to say anything more about it because I would want, if you're interested in that kind of thing or have never watched it, it's a great picture to watch. It's very entertaining and it's a short documentary. It's like 90 minutes.
When I watched it, there was a couple shots that they had and took. And again, I won't spoil it for anyone, but
I wish we could take shots.
It would you just came back and sat down. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Just some of the shots they had from like him climbing and looking down.
Oh, amazing.
Even sitting on the couch, I was like,
yeah.
Oh God. I almost vomited everywhere just from what they were showing him do.
And you're telling yourself, you're like, oh, I'm watching a guy who's filming this guy from a position of being like in one of those baskets that they hang from the rock face, or the camera's on a drone, or the camera's in a helicopter. If something happened, they probably wouldn't be releasing this footage, right?
Correct, yeah.
Like here's the footage right before he fell, or right before there was a serious accident. But that's why I felt when I was watching Free Solo. When I was watching The Alpinist, I was constantly, I'm like, shit's going to go wrong. And I might be watching the last footage that anyone ever saw of this guy because of the way he climbs. So it was very good. I guess if I'm going to give it a grade, I'd give it a solid B.
All right.
So Nick wants to do a shot.
That being said, yeah, because everyone else does not at all.
Audience members, get yourself something and join us.
She's got one.
Cheers, Danielle.
Cheers.
I love our audience tonight.
Live in studio audience.
We each had something different except for Danielle and Bob. I had Fireball. Cory had Pink Lady. Bob had
Pink Whitney. Jesus Christ.
It's not just me.
Bob had
I can't help it, but
Strawberry Nesquik, and so did Danielle.
Oh, that's good Nesquik. 6.5% of alcohol by volume Nesquik.
Oh God, it's way more than that.
The shit I was drinking?
Yeah. That's like 27%.
I don't think so.
It's not 6. That's like beer.
Oh, maybe it's 27 proof.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So new assignments.
I didn't go yet. Yeah,
yes, you did.
Damn it.
Nick's got me. Cory has Nick, and I got Cory.
Perfect.
All right. Anybody want to go first?
Yeah. Have you seen Looper?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Yeah, because you probably assigned it to him.
No.
I didn't.
You're thinking Lupin.
Yeah.
Either way.
I have seen Looper, yeah.
Into the Wild?
Into the Wild?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're asking a question about it, but you don't know if you've seen it.
I wasn't sure if you were pronouncing it correctly.
How else
All I
do you
heard was
pronounce
Into the Wild.
How
That's
else
all I
do you
heard.
pronounce Into the Wild?
It'd be awesome if that's what you said, but that's not what you said. So.
Okay. Well, then come back around because
Okay.
I'm still looking.
Cory.
Yes, sir.
Let's go with The Matrix.
Who says I haven't seen that?
You did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Damn it.
I asked you like a week ago. Daniel was there. Confirmed.
Fuck.
Why fuck? You might like it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen bits and parts, but
Bits and parts. Well, well, I know you've seen the snippets and the clippets, but given that Matrix Resurrections just came out on HBO Max a week or two ago, I thought it was pretty timely. I watched that movie and I was really, really impressed. So the fact that I found out you hadn't watched it yet, I'm like, no, let's do that.
all right. The Matrix.
The original Matrix, sir. Okay.
I got Nick's.
Yeah.
Nick, you have Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay. What the fuck? Let me see. Hold on. Hold please. It's the worst pair up to have me give something to Bob.
That's fine. We could even continue on doing something else if you want to come back to it.
Bob, have you seen Last Resort?
Is it a show or a movie?
Movie.
Do you know anybody who's in it?
I can look it up. Hang on.
Where can I find it?
It's an English movie.
A British movie.
BBC. Yep.
Okay. Is it on Netflix? Amazon Prime?
It's available.
Well, I don't know what that means.
1986 comedy.
Is it a ski like a ski an
No.
80s ski comedy?
No, not that one.
Charles Grodin?
No.
Yeah.
The 2000 Last Resort.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay. A contemporary crisis.
It's
who's that?
Last Resort.
I'm game. You know I'm game.
Apparently, there's a couple of them, so I'm trying to
Just
give
trying
you
to
the
figure
right
out.
one.
Dina Corzin, Patty Constantine, Ben Dover's in it.
Are you giving me a porno?
Hang on.
I feel like
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
It is a porno?
Dina Corzin.
I skipped over that one.
So it's about a Russian woman and her son, and it's made by the BBC. It's a British.
Okay.
movie.
I have not seen it.
Last Resort. Look for the one that was made in 2000.
Where can I find it?
Um,
I'll look it up.
The only reason Nick has seen this is because Mike paid him for an entire day of work to sit down and watch this movie.
No.
Probably did.
Yeah.
There's no way you watch this. at
No,
your
there's
house.
no way.
Oh, it was right at my
This
house.
was at work.
I just stumbled upon it.
Yeah, I'm stumbled upon it on what streaming service,
Looks
Nick?
like Prime Video. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Looks like it. I mean,
All right.
since you stumbled upon it, I thought you knew.
I'll take
but-
it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Totally fine.
It would be something that I think you would like.
All right. I got it.
You're an Anglophile.
All that means
I
is that
am.
Nick has nothing else to give you. So,
He's got this. I'll take it.
That's right. Thanks, buddy.
gentleman's agreement's going to come to a close here soon if Nick can't get some more under his belt.
Dude, I literally watched 3 new movies this week, which is huge for me. 3 movies.
So one of them was your assignment from 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so 4.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to go down to 2.
No.
And was this one of the other ones?
So it was Looper, this, Into the Wild, and My Agreement.
Okay.
And I'm like, nope, seen it, nope. So I'm like,
Well, I've got an
I thought
idea
I was
for
doing
you.
really good getting things under my belt.
If you're doing that, why don't you reach out to us going like, hey, I'm about to watch this. Have you guys seen it?
Because that's, you know how involved that would be every time if I want to watch a movie?
It would
Like,
take 5 minutes.
It's the world we live in now, buddy.
5 minutes.
all I got to do is say, hey, what are movies you've never seen? How about that?
All I'm saying is, rather than just watching going like, I'll just assume they'd never seen it. And then finding out that, no.
Contrary to
Wah,
popular
wah,
belief,
they
Bob,
have.
I don't spend my free time watching movies thinking if you guys have seen them or not.
Well, maybe you should.
I watch something I'm interested in.
All right, well, then you can't be pissed when we've already seen them.
But
No,
he will sit and
Oh,
watch.
Jesus. You guys have already seen this. Oh,
Thought I was
will-
doing pretty good.
He will sit and watch 6 hours of Seinfeld in a row, though.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than watching a new movie.
Easily.
Yeah,
But that's just
exactly.
that's just background noise. That's just stuff to do.
How many
while you're,
times
like,
have you watched The Big
cooking or
Lebowski?
I don't know if I know exactly how many times I've seen
Exactly.
it, but I've also seen thousands of other things too.
It's because that's all you do. You do.
Thousands.
I don't watch movies while I'm working. You do.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's do a little lightning round, and then we can close out with pick of the week. So the rules of lightning round, unlike the existential question, this is supposed to be yes or no answers, or relatively quick. There can be some discussion, but doesn't have to be. We're gonna plow through these. To the group, do you like the smell of gasoline?
Yes.
Yes.
Why do all guys like the smell of gasoline? Is it just because we're guys?
Oh, this means more power.
What about the taste? Just me?
So follow-up question.
It burns
Has
on your
Has
extremities,
anyone
it's like-
actually tried to siphon gasoline in that way from a car?
I have.
Have you?
I've never.
So you've tasted gasoline.
Huh?
How bad is it?
Pretty bad.
Okay. So you wouldn't recommend it?
Nope.
I mean, if
Sure
you-
wouldn't.
All right. Can you touch your toes without bending your knees?
Yes.
I would literally. I'm going to say no right now because I'd actually have to stand up and try.
Okay. You and I will try it later. I feel like the answer for me is yes, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's been a long holiday season. So
Mine's more my back.
I prefer
Touch
not
your
to
back?
answer that right now because I'm still carrying a little bit of holiday weight.
what would you do if you were a dictator? One thing you would do if you're a dictator.
That's not a lightning round question. That's an
one thing.
existential question.
All right, well, I could save it and give it to Nick.
So what would I do? I would make sure that no one goes hungry. There's some sort of plan in place where everyone can have food.
Some sort of plan. You're the dictator.
Okay, listen,
your plan.
I'm not actually a dictator. You said
In
this
this
needs
example,
to be a
you
quick
are.
answer.
Well,
And
I
the
guess I'm
answer
waving it.
is no one would go hungry. I'm sure I have staff that could take care of that.
Just feeds.
These are conscripted servants.
You
is
want
what
me to
have. A
come up
dictator
with
doesn't have
a
staff.
plan on how to feed a country quickly while I'm sitting here listening to a question that I've never
mean,
heard before?
Not too difficult to question, I think. Yeah.
Then I talk too much, and you're like, "Hey, this was supposed to be super quick."
I never said that.
Okay.
Corey, what'd you do if you're a dictator?
I'd free the homeless.
You'd free the homeless.
Yep.
They're free.
From where? From the shackles of their homelessness?
Being homeless.
They're free. You hate the homeless.
So you'd give the homeless a home.
No, I'd free them.
Free them to where?
Free to go. That's my.
Go where? So you'd evict the homeless from your land.
And when you
Bob,
put it that way.
I have intimately experienced Cory deal with the homeless. He hates the homeless. He despises. He does not
Does
care for the
Danielle
homeless
know this?
whatsoever.
I don't know if she's ever.
This seems like a character question that she should know before they.
I don't think she's
tie
ever
the
seen
knot.
an interaction
we've-
with me and a homeless person.
We've had situations where we've worked where the homeless just want to come in and use the restroom, not his restroom that he has to clean, and he is like, absolutely fucking not. You're not coming in here to use any kind of restroom. You go pee on the streets.
Yep.
One day when you're free, you'll have your own toilet.
One day I will free you.
I did take some
But
food
until
to that
that
one
day-
guy the one day.
Yeah, you did.
That's because I was told to. But
So you'd free the free the homeless?
I don't know if that's an answer.
It's really, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
sure it does.
Change the sentence to make sense.
I'd let the homeless free.
It's like saying,
Oh,
I'd change the color of the wind.
if you said
Like,
I'd feed the homeless, that would make sense.
No. We're not
If you
doing-
said I'd
no.
clothe the homeless, that
like-
would make sense.
They're like
mo-
pigeons. You don't want to feed
I
them.
don't see too many naked homeless people just walking around, so I think
If
they're
you
good on
said
that.
if you said I'd get rid of the homeless people, that, while despicable, would also be a sensible answer.
Yeah, but you can't say it like that.
You're not going to be a dictator anytime soon. This is a hypothetical question.
So
Okay, fine. I'd liberate the homeless.
Bob, I know this.
Yeah.
That Cory's has a lot of roots in, and I know from officers.
So now that we're doing this all post production, can we bleep that out in the audio?
What?
Yeah.
What cities we just used?
Make sure to send me a text.
Yeah,
Remind me.
You don't work for them.
I know I don't, but I know plenty of people that do and that still have jobs there. So
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I'm saying is that regardless of Cory's ties to anything, it makes no difference. But I know from my experience that there's been a feud that's gone on for years, PDs, where in the past, and not even talking about any kind of recent history in the past 15 years, but before that, I know that a lot of homeless individuals were problematic for the police. They would get calls on them all the time. They'd have to deal with them. A lot of times they were alcoholics. They just were causing all kinds of problems that were tying up police valuable resources. And so came up with like an unwritten rule that they would take the homeless, drive them into the opposite city, and then drop them off, and then come back. So and so they were like, look, okay, we don't want to keep dealing with this. We're getting calls on this guy all the time. He's peeing on the side of a building. He's sleeping in front of a McDonald's. He's telling me to go fuck myself. He's shitting in my squad car. Yeah. Sure, you want to ride? Sure,
Yeah,
I got
if
you.
you could take my dad out of here, that'd be
Yep.
great.
And so they just, here you go. Have a good one. And they'd say it would just be a couple days' time, and they'd see that guy want. They'd be like, how the fuck did you get here?
enough with the city names, please.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows where we are.
It has nothing to do with that.
Necessarily. Yeah.
It's a deeper
I'll cut
than
it out.
that.
Okay. Anyhow,
All right. I would
bleep it out.
I would take in Cory's homeless.
I want to change my answer to I free the homeless to Bob.
There you go.
Bob's never had experience with homeless.
I have.
Yeah.
I have a great homeless story.
Have you
I
not heard the donut story?
Yeah.
There was a homeless lady.
That's not even my
he
only
hates
homeless
the
story.
homeless.
I know he does. He hates them more than I do.
I don't like the shenanigans that homeless people are up to.
But my answer wasn't acceptable. But that's an acceptable. Okay.
You know who else?
You were just cagey about it, like, I'll liberate
I
the
was
homeless.
cagey about it.
You
Go
know,
fuck yourself.
You know who else hates the homeless? Tony.
Does he really?
Tony really hates the homeless.
I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever saw an interaction.
There was a woman in a wheelchair who by choice. And
By choice.
yeah, by choice.
I understand what you're saying about
Yeah.
that.
And she had a really high pitched like baby voice. Hey, what's it going? Like that. And her name was China something. China something. I won't give away her name.
lost interest
I'll say
already.
things like the name of a city, but I'm not going to say a homeless person's name. And,
Yeah, thanks.
and I remember,
Homeless people listen to a lot of podcasts.
dude,
You
it
don't wanna
would
offend
it
them.
would be the end of a shift where we would have like our gear off, and I remember he bolted out the back door one day because this chick, he had been kicking her out all week, and she came wheeling in like right as we were getting off shift, and he went up, and all I remember seeing was him. He took her out of the building and was in uniform running her down to the street, which was not a close distance, and she is screaming in her high-pitched voice, "What are you doing? Get off of me! Don't! I told you not to come back! Don't! I told you!" But it hysterical. But there's been many encounters with him and certain homeless women that have just been
Tony's cool with homeless guys.
Certain homeless.
There have only been instances with homeless women.
All right.
I remember another time he yelped on the radio and no one knew what the hell it was. They just thought someone stepped on their mic. And I knew it was him in trouble, and I ran to where I thought he was. And he was on the ground with a homeless woman.
Making out?
Nope. Wrestling around on the
Sweet
floor.
love.
Wrestling around on the floor. And he went to throw a...
Yeah, I bet they were.
I was the only
Wrestling.
one. Yeah. I was the only one there. He went to throw a handcuff on her, and she took the handcuff out of his hand and tossed it 100 feet down the hallway.
Oh, no.
And it slid all the way down. And unlike me, he only carried one pair. So I was showing up at this time. So I give him a lot of credit because instead of stopping, he grabbed her by the scruff of her shirt and drug her all the way down the hallway to get his handcuffs and put them on her. So, yeah, he's got a history with homeless people.
I did not know that.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's very funny.
Yeah, the donut story is not my only homeless story.
Well, I would like to hear the other one.
So why are you feeding them?
I wouldn't say so much feeding them.
I didn't feed them.
Isn't that what you
I
said?
adamantly refused to feed them.
Didn't you say you wanted to? Or you
I'm accepting Cory's homeless people from his land.
And where are you putting them?
In my land. I didn't say I was going to feed them. I'm like, they're fend for themselves. But yeah, so long time ago when I was married, my wife and I went downtown Detroit to the Fox to see Rent, the musical. And I don't know if you've seen Rent the Musical, but Rent the Musical is about young people living with the plight of AIDS and homelessness and poverty. And so we waited the first intermission, and then we went out, and then we broke, and then we went outside and had a cigarette. And there's like a gated off area where smokers can go outside and have a smoke.
Did she smoke too?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
At the time.
Okay.
She shall not be named.
Yeah.
To protect the innocent. So we were out there smoking, and this homeless person came up, and they're like, "Oh, can I please, blah, blah, blah." And so I just come from seeing the first half of a musical about homeless people. Mm-hmm. So what kind of a piece of shit am I going to be to just go, "No, don't have anything." So I was like, Cory's like, a big one. So I go in my wallet, and I gave the guy $20, and I'm like, "Here, please."
He knew his audience.
Please use this to get some. Yeah, of course he did. But I'm like, no, I was flush with the experience of, watching this musical. And I'm like, oh, God's probably watching down there now. Like, if there's any time you're going to host people, like, this is the time.
Oh, hold on. Mary, Jesus. Hold on 1 second. Is that Bob? Is he watching Rent?
Yeah.
Cue the homeless.
So I gave the guy $20. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm like, get yourself something to eat. Yeah. He walks away.
Buys booze.
We go back inside, watch until the second intermission, and then go back outside to have a smoke. And I see the same guy come through. He's like, "Oh, yes, sir, can I please?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "I already gave you $20. He's like, "No, you didn't." "Fuck you, I didn't. I gave you $20. "I don't think you did. If you don't want to give it to me, that's fine." I'm like, hold on a second, motherfucker. I gave you $20. Go fuck yourself. Outside of Rent the musical, I'm telling a homeless guy to go fuck himself. And at that point, I'm like, I'm never getting the homeless again. That's it.
So this is why you want the homeless on your land?
Well, I'm doing them a favor to, just because they're immigrants. they're they've been kicked out of Cory land.
Yes.
And
they've been free.
I'm sheltering them.
Not kicked out, free.
Underneath the shelter of, give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses. That's how Bobland works.
And every last one of those homeless people gets $20 from Bob.
No, they don't.
Oh.
No, they're on their own.
Damn it.
You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps in Bobland.
Good luck with that, buddy.
All right.
All right. Do you like the name Charlie for a girl?
No.
Since Danielle's here. Danielle used to, but she's soured on it. Nick says no. Cory.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
There you go.
I'm not sure what the formal name is. Like, you probably wouldn't name her Charlie. What? Charlotte? Really?
You just
every
like
time?
it.
Not every time.
You just like it because of Friends, Bob.
Oh, she was hot.
See,
Are you kidding me? Totally. What was the actress's name?
I don't know, but she was smoking
She hosts.
hot, but I didn't like the name.
Whose line is it anyway right now?
I didn't like the fact that her name was Charlie.
Why?
I just didn't like it.
Oh, I thought it was very sexy. Anyway. All right. So, have you ever tasted soap?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many of you have tasted soap like I have in bar form?
Yep.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was for the older generation, but apparently
No.
it's a punishment that is
Soap in the
has
mouth.
survived
Yep.
throughout the. Okay. Did you?
Aisha Tyler?
Aisha Tyler, yeah. Not only so hot, just naturally hot, but also has a long history of being heavily into like video games, computer gaming, that kind of shit, sports. Like, she's
But you're not into video gaming or
girl.
computer gaming.
Absolutely.
Like, what games do you play?
He watches Jack.
I was.
I feel like I'm gaming when
I
I'm
was
watching
one of
this.
the original Doom players back in Corey would love this story.
Okay,
because
Bob, if
I
it's-
was living Corey's life back when I got my first job. I got my first
If
job.
you haven't played the game in 38 years, then it doesn't
well, that's where I
count.
started.
Doom was
Sure.
absolutely-
Okay. So
we
what
would,
was the last
we
video?
we would go to. I would work for 8 hours, go home, get dinner, and then come back to work. Let myself in with a key, bring a couple of friends, and we would install Doom on all of the workstations in the. This is like in 1994, so we had to learn how to network them together and play multiplayer Doom.
Wasn't that hard? We did it when we were like 11.
Off of like I think it was 9 diskettes to install the game on each.
So
on each
what
workstation.
was the
It
last
awesome.
computer or video game you played? And not counting things on your phone.
Latest Spider-Man on the PS5.
Yeah?
Yeah,
When was that?
2 weekends ago.
Was it like, hey, Dad, come check this out?
No, it's in my room. It's hooked up to my bedroom TV.
Interesting.
Yeah, my all the PlayStations that my son my house is strictly a PlayStation house.
Is it true that your son still has a PS3 and you have a PS5?
I have a PS2, 3, 4, and 5, and any PlayStations that my son uses are my old PlayStations. But
So he doesn't have the new one?
No, that's for Dad. Dude, do you know how hard it is to get a PlayStation 5? It's fucking impossible.
It's really not. I saw several people walking out of Best Buy with them.
No, fuck those people.
It was very easy.
Those people slept with the owner of Best Buy, and that's
the owner of Best Buy?
Yeah, yeah.
So
she's very easy. By the way,
you have your own PS5
Yeah.
that your son cannot play.
no, he can, but it stays in my room.
He can play it only when I'm there and only when I'm watching.
He's actually shown no interest in playing the PS5 at all. He's heavily into whatever games he's playing on the PS4, which is also mine, but it's in his room.
This is really cool. It came out in 2009.
I don't know. They were making PS4 games up until like a year ago. And in fact, they're still making them.
Yeah.
I was going to say, now they stopped making them. Now it's
PS5s are not backward compatible. Like every fucking PlayStation, they don't support the previous platform.
I hate companies that do shit like that.
It's planned obsolescence.
I understand that. Apple is huge on planned obsolescence,
Yeah.
and I can't stand that. If you have loyal customers, don't do that fucking shit. I can't stand that. That you have like an iPad for 7 years, and all of a sudden like, whoops, sorry, can't update it anymore.
And Android's there, and it's going to get worse with Android. I understand they're not at the level Apple's at right now, but it's definitely already
And
there.
And the fact that Android has had almost double the megapixel cameras that iPhones have, and for years it'll be like 4 years down the road, and Apple will be like, oh, we just released 12 megapixel, and Android's on 24, and they're like, and everyone's like, oh my god, 12 megapixels, that's great. I'm like, why do they do that? That's fucking so stupid.
It's almost not even worth wasting your breath.
I know,
bitching
I know,
about it, because
but it's dumb.
I've worked for a large company for a lot of years, and there's literally a boardroom of people that sit together and they make these types of decisions about product, new product releases, changes to the code, backward compatibility, and you are a cog in the biggest wheel you could possibly imagine, and they do it because they know it's going to make them more money than if they didn't.
Yeah, because, in 3 months from now, we're going to release the 10,
Yeah.
but we're going to release the 10 Plus, which has a 16 megapixel camera, even though Android has been out for years that's had 16 since, 7 years ago or whatever. But, for the Apple people, they're like, oh, God, this is a better camera. I'm like, so stupid.
All right. If you were given an all expenses paid trip to Cleveland, would you take it?
Fuck yeah.
Every day.
Yeah? Just for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or to see a Browns game?
I would go to where Drew Carey says Cleveland rocks at the end of the intro.
As long as I'm getting paid to go there, that's what
I'm not gonna lie to you there, Bob. I'd probably go take in a Mudheads game.
That's Toledo, but
It's close enough.
Cleveland and Toledo are nowhere near each
in
other.
the world of
Getting
sports,
closer.
that is a different city. But
I'm
yeah,
getting closer.
You are getting closer.
It's in Ohio.
It's the right sport, dude. I'm proud. I'm proud of you, buddy. Look at you.
One of these days.
Look at you.
Good job, pal.
Thanks.
Do you currently own any stuffed animals?
I do not.
I do not either.
Oh, I do.
Go on.
Continue.
Only because when I was younger, I used to collect stuffed animals. So every year, my dad would, it was one of those things like my dad loves duck hunting.
Including
So
this year.
no,
I knew.
Like-
I was waiting for that.
like how my dad loved duck hunting, and he's like, just because I like duck hunting doesn't mean I want duck pillows
Just
and
because I
slippers.
have stuffed animals, fellas, doesn't mean I want any more.
Yeah, so I had like one stuffed animal, and I liked it because I was like 5, and so every occasion, my family would buy me stuffed animals, to where if I when I had to make my bed every day, I had to line up all the stuffed animals on the bed afterwards. So my dad kept all these because he's very nostalgic. Yeah.
Were they lined up by height or by importance?
Or by name.
After years, it none of it. It just was out the window. They were just put there because I got so sick of putting stuffed animals on my fucking bed.
But when you
I don't-
started,
I don't buy it for
when
a
you
second.
started,
Yeah.
how were they lined up?
Importance. And so he like a couple years ago, after I 6 years ago moved into my house, it was like a couple years ago, he handed me these bags where he got those vacuum bags, and he has held on to these stuffed animals, and he vacuumed them and was like, here you go. So they're in my house somewhere.
Wow.
You vacuum them, then put them in a vacuum bag?
He vacuumed them in the bag. It's crazy.
That's
I
pretty
know.
impressive.
I think he did and did not answer your question.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have them somewhere.
Wow.
There is someone that has a stuffed animal that she sleeps with every night in the room.
Is his name Cory?
No.
Is it a very dim-witted slow horse? That almost sounded like a neigh.
So we went to Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
What was it? 6 years ago now? 4 years ago? And got a bear put together. And we went, and there was all the things you can pick out, shirts and all this and that. And there was nothing really that good, except for one shirt that had a menorah on it and some Jewish writing. And I was like, well, this is what we're going to get the bear. And
Why?
so it was the only like T-shirt. Everything else was like a crazy costume with a hat and everything. I'm like,
You make it sound like you looked at that menorah and you're like, that's the one.
Oh, I did. And then, because the follow-up to that, I mean, we went to go cash out, and they're like, oh, what would you like to name the bear? And I was like, oh, I want to name it Julie. And so they...
What? Okay. Not like Sydney Applebaum or some
Nope.
other shirt that fits the or
and
name that
she
fits menorah.
typed
but-
in Julie. And I was like, no. Can we change that to
Oh, no.
Jewlie?
Oh, no.
And she's like, well,
Oh, no.
yeah.
No, I can't. No, I can't. You racist son of a bitch.
So Danielle has Julie, the Jewish bear.
Why did you guys buy this?
I was trying to be nice and buy her a stuffed animal at the time and
Right.
do the whole Build-A-Bear thing. And
And she sleeps with Julie every night?
Somehow
Yeah.
you fucked up going to Build-A-Bear. I'm not sure how you did it, but
she thought it was hilarious.
did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if the cashier did or not, but
I
I
guarantee she did.
I didn't really ask.
That's the long con of Cory Selesky, just reeling that big
Yeah.
fish in.
Okay. Tapas or pasta?
Pasta.
What?
Tapas or pasta?
What is tapas?
Little small plates.
Yeah.
What is? I don't understand. What does that mean?
They bring you
There's
like
tapas restaurants that you don't get a full meal or like an entree size plate. You get it's small plates. There's literally restaurants called small plates.
Yeah.
So it's like
Let's serve
appetizers and stuff?
Appetizer sized.
Oh, yeah. Tapas for sure.
Okay.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I will interject. You're not getting a full appetizer. You're getting a piece of that appetizer.
Yeah. For the price of an appetizer.
Oh, for more than the price
of an entree.
For a filet mignon meal, you're getting one
But you
piece.
didn't say anything about purchasing it. You just said, which one do I like better?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this example, he could be a millionaire.
Yeah. If I could have a constant flow of different apps that I can taste, I would take that over a plate of pasta.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Just want to make sure you were clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Ask permission or beg forgiveness.
I'll tell you right now that for the entirety of my life, I have always said that to a fault. I asked for permission growing up, and my brother just did shit. And I'm like, if I look back on it now, I'm like, I was the idiot because he just said, "Oh, sorry," and I was always like, "Can I do that?" No, and I should have just done it.
I'll more than agree with you there because I always did the exact same thing. I would ask, "Hey, can I go do this?" And it would be a no, rather than later just now being older being like, "Oh, now it wouldn't have been a thing at all." I could just been like, "Yeah, sorry,"
because there's a chance
didn't know I couldn't do that.
There's a chance you couldn't get caught, and you could always plead ignorance, and that he would just always do things, and every now and then would get caught. And
he's still alive and doing good. So,
and I would always ask, and so I had that constant judgment of, I can't believe he wanted to do that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. What about you, Bob?
I think I'm an ask permission guy because I always spent the time to pre-engineer and anticipate all the questions and set it up so that the answer had to be yes. Like I always got a yes answer. Because I always made sure that any other objections were answered.
We'll talk to Lori after this. See how many yes answers
Dude,
he gets.
the fact that we've been together for 2 years proves my point.
No, it just means you're an easygoing guy. It doesn't. You're not getting
not
yes
necessarily.
You're not getting yes answers from Lori.
Yes, I am.
Every time. No, you're not.
Not every time. I mean, no one has 100% success rate.
No,
but
80% of the time, every time.
pretty high.
No, you're getting a lot of actuallys is what you're getting.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I'm around you when you talk to her. She tells you you're wrong all the time.
Mind games.
It's all up here. All up here.
If the toilet paper roll is really low but not completely out, do you replace it or leave it for someone else?
I replace it. There's someone else I know in the room, again, that will leave it till it comes right down that last little piece of paper that.
So when you walk in the bathroom, like turn the lights on, that's what you're faced with? That little like half of a square left?
No, it's usually like right after I sit down and complete my business that I'm like, oh, great.
So you don't ever look at the roll before you close the door?
No, because I would assume it's always.
Why are you okay? So this is the great part about being married and
I'm working on it.
having kids. You will learn to. Yeah, you don't ever.
Before, yeah, I know. I know. I'm starting. Like I said, I'm starting to learn that.
Yeah.
Mine would be immediately replace it and set the small one on top of it.
Yeah, I will go in there and take a look and then go get another roll, bring it in there with me, and then,
because it's a huge. I have a lot of OCD tendencies that are not life altering, but they're tendencies.
As far as you know.
Yeah, and I would not be able to leave a bathroom with an empty roll. It would drive me insane.
I think it's a dick move to do that.
Oh, it's a dick move. First of all, me living on my own, it's a dick move by yourself. You're just fucking yourself. What if you have an emergency?
Well, on your own, yeah. That is a dick move to do yourself.
Yeah, but I do it at other people's houses too. I'll do my best to replace it.
Right. All right, fellas. That's lightning round for the week. Thanks for. We knocked off quite a few from the list. Let's close it out with pick of the week.
Sounds good.
Anyone want to jump in? So if you're new to the podcast, pick of the week is anything that you want to recommend, whether it's a movie you watched, a show you watched, a place that you went to eat, something that you bought that you'd recommend that someone else buy. Anything you want under the sun, as long as you're going to stand behind it. So, Cory, you got one?
I do.
Let's go.
Just recently purchased an Apple AirTag.
Oh, did you?
Those
I
can
did.
be dangerous.
Okay, yeah. I almost had a booze news story today about the AirTag, but it was from the New York Times, and I don't have a subscription, so
So I couldn't read it.
yeah.
Paywall.
I saved the link and then I clicked it. And
Paywall.
I'm like, I'm not paying for the fucking AirTag. Anyway,
Dude, I mean, it's pretty cool from what I've discovered
now
so
how's
far.
it different from the tile?
And that's my number one thing with, and that's why I bought an AirTag rather than a tile, because tiles came out years ago.
Yeah.
And I did have one from my sister. Ordered like 10 of them, and she's like, "Oh, if you want one, take one." And it's good if you're within Bluetooth range. So you have to be close enough to it in order to pick it up on your phone and then actually be able to direct yourself to it.
Plus, I believe Tile, you have to be dependent on a community. They played off of like a networking community. They hoped that, oh, well, the Bluetooth's not going to be the end of the road. We hope that other Tile users are going to activate one of our options, which is like neighborhood Tile mode, which means that you share your Wi-Fi connection and Bluetooth to where if another tile is discovered in your area, you assist people in helping. It's just too involved.
Yeah, they might be at that now. When she got hers, like it was literally just the Bluetooth that you could connect to.
But even that sucks. I mean,
Well, yeah, big time, because
a lot of people turn it off and they're like, I don't know, I gotta help anybody else.
well, that, and then in order to find it, you had to be within 50 feet of the actual item. You couldn't leave it a mile away, let alone a state away, let alone in another country. The AirTags, no matter where it's at, just like your laptop or MacBook or iPad, it picks it right up, and you can put it in your car, you can put it on your keys, whatever you want to do with it, and you can get a signal no matter what, wherever the item's at, or no matter how far you are from it, and direct yourself to it.
Okay.
So you saw all the articles of the people committing crimes with them.
Yeah. I mean, and with every good thing, there's going to be a downside to it, and people are going to take a good thing and make a bad side out of it. But if you're going to do the right thing with it and use it for personal use and in that nature, it's an awesome item from what I've found thus far.
I mean, it would be the equivalent of saying, "Oh God, guns are horrible because people commit crimes with them." Well, yeah, there's a lot of police officers that stop crimes with them as well.
Right.
And I would also, sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
go
interrupt
ahead.
you.
Yeah.
I was also going to say, based on that, because I think that was what my story was going to be, was about the downside of having the AirTags. I couldn't read the article, but I already know.
So
if you have an AirTag and you're concerned about that, you have to remember the hacking rule, which is you are a private citizen, not somebody famous, not a government employee, not somebody who's in the paper all the time. You're not a celebrity. No one gives a fuck about you.
no one's coming after my stuff.
No one's coming after your stuff. It's the same thing I tell my mom every time she ever had a question about, like, should I buy this online? I've heard other people listing their identities. You're nobody. Nobody cares about you.
You don't. I don't have the cash flow or the hype behind me.
You're too small of a fish for people to worry about. So
the thing that I read was that a lot of people were taking, like, criminals were taking AirTags, and they're going through parking lots and stuff and spotting,
placing them in vehicles that they want to steal later.
souped up cars.
because I can find them.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they're putting them underneath the car, and then they're watching the car's patterns, and they're like, okay, well, this is where he works, and he spends 8 hours there every day. So the second he'd go into work, they'd be like, all right.
They learn a pattern.
Yep, we got all the time in the world, and we know exactly where it is. We go in there, we hit it, we take the car, and we're gone,
Yeah.
But the great thing that Apple did to counteract that is now if you have an AirTag near you that's been basically kind of around you for a certain period of time, it'll alert your own phone, even though it might not be your AirTag.
Yeah.
It'll tell you, like, there's an AirTag near you.
Yeah. And I had read that too.
It's been near you for a while.
Yeah.
So you might want to look into that. I mean, obviously, it's not going to direct you to it like you could with your own.
No, but you might go out and do a once over around the outside of the bottom of your car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are countermeasures in place to kind of stop that from happening.
Right.
Well, I said, and like you said too, the upside being is 98% of the people out there are not.
No, you don't, unless
no
you
one's gonna-
drive a custom vehicle or something that has, like, a catalytic converter that someone wants for resale or is in high demand, no one cares about you.
Yeah. And so the whole
People like to think they're way more important than they are.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Me on the other hand, I'd rather have that technology and be able to put it in a piece of luggage or put it on something that I might need to actually track.
Yeah.
Knowing that I can actually get to it or find it with not having to be within 50 feet of it.
Right.
In order to do so. So yeah, no, I'm not worried about anyone being able to hack into it or, it being used in the wrong way for me.
Yeah.
I think it's a great little piece of technology that is actually surprisingly cheap for an Apple product.
One of the few.
Yeah, exactly.
Not worried about anything nefarious going on.
No. Like I say, I'm no one important. It doesn't matter to me as far as who wants to. If someone else was able to find my AirTag, okay, that's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
I just like to know where my stuff's at.
You're not worried about someone, tracking your Aston Martin when you're driving around.
Bob,
Are they white? Are they
Sorry,
small,
man.
like white squares?
they're not. They're little circles.
Yeah.
Probably about that big.
They're white?
Tag on
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I thought I saw something on Danielle's pants.
As a jalapeno.
She's right there.
Totally asleep.
Soderman dollar pants.
Daddy knows where you're going.
What 150 AirTags?
It sucks because she changes her pants.
when she washes them, it completely kills the
she
AirTag.
likes you to think she does, but she doesn't. Nick, you got a pick?
Yes. So my pick of the week is going to be the new kegerator I got. It's a company called Edge Star Store, EDGE Star Store on Amazon. It's a smaller kegerator than normal. They from this point, this is $429. They run several $100s into the thousands up, but this is definitely not bottom of the line. But it's for all intents and purposes what I need it for. It does a 6-barrel keg, which is 44 pints, and it has a 2.5 pound CO2 canister that comes with it. They cost about $99. Comes with it. And if you got somewhere local that like a gas supply, it was $7 to fill up. And this really works out well. Once you get everything up, it has interior LED blue lighting, which is super cool. Anyone that knows me knows I like lighting. It costs $34. It's an Energy Star kegerator, $34 a year. Run it all year long, $34. And it has a thermostat inside that you can drop it down to below 32 degrees if you so choose. So it gets it super, super cold. Really well made. It wasn't difficult to put together whatsoever. Edge Star Store kegerator on for 1/6 barrels for $4.29 on Amazon.
Got it. All right, sir. So to close it out, my pick is on. I should have done this a couple weeks ago, but with the holidays and COVID, etc., it just didn't happen. But on Disney Plus, the Beatles Get Back. I feel like I'm the only one here who's really a Beatles fan, but I could be wrong.
I watched it.
You did watch? You watch the whole thing?
Yeah. It was actually going to be something I was going to assign to you.
Well, now you don't have to.
Well, I figured I'm like he's going to watch it anyways. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a pick of the week thing. And we'll talk about it after because I obviously don't want to give any spoilers on the episode.
Yeah, spoiler free.
But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. I think that so there's 3 parts to it. Each part is like 2 to 2.5 hours. So it's a bigger time commitment, and it's a very specific period in their career where they were given an assignment kind of from the record company that they were going to be doing. They're going to be recording a new album and then doing a show, which they hadn't played live together in like over 2 years. And they had like 30 days to get it together, like writing the album, like from nothing and getting it finished and ready to go and ready to perform live. And it was like a monumental task. And, I'm a huge Beatles fan back from when I was a kid all the way up through now. If you were never a Beatles fan, but you're familiar with who they are and you want to get a better idea of the music, it's specifically about, that particular Get Back album. And it culminates with a show that's on the rooftops in London that you could find clips on it on YouTube here and there, but this is the whole thing. And so Peter Jackson, the guy who directed King Kong and the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy, worked with the people from Apple Records who had the footage because they wanted to document the whole thing, so they shot everything. And there's a lot of, I could sit here and probably go on and on about like a dozen or more super cool moments or things that were really interesting during the course of all these hours of footage. But suffice to say, even if you weren't necessarily a Beatles fan, it's like watching the greatest band in the world, some would argue, certainly at the time, one of the most influential bands ever, actually writing songs and figuring out an album and working together in a way that is really kind of amazing to watch, that you don't often get that inside look into doing. And if you were a fan, it speaks to you as well, because there's a lot of inside stuff, whether you were a fan of Paul or more of a John person, or you're a George Harrison guy. It's really interesting stuff that happened there. So you can find it on Disney Plus.
Sweet.
So
get back to where you wanna go.
Yeah, there's a cool part where like Paul McCartney comes in earlier than most of the Beatles. John, not surprisingly, rolls in like last and often late. But Paul would get there early, and he would just start sitting there noodling on the piano or playing something on the guitar, and he would just come out and start noodling something, and then, like George would show up, Ringo would show up, and then they would listen to what he was doing, and they would just kind of sit down. They pour themselves a cup of tea, have a sandwich, and they sit down and they would just sort of fall into what he was doing. And
would they start noodling?
They would also start noodling, and the noodling would come together, and it would become a song from the beginning. Go fuck yourself.
I say, don't bite
Cory,
on that
seriously.
bait.
Cory.
Jesus Christ.
It would become a song, and
him
they would
for how
start.
long?
They
Cory,
would start
this is
from the
something serious.
beginning. So it's something really kind of impressive to see. That's it.
I apologize, friend. That sounds great, Bob.
Yeah, thanks, man. All right, that's the podcast of the week. Get out there and do something interesting this week. For Schnozzcast, this is Bob and Cory and Nick saying goodbye. Todd, we'll miss you, buddy. We'll see you next week.